Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are taking a look at Gameweek 11. We're going to be discussing each upcoming Gameweek fixture, predicting the potential key players, differentials and clean sheets. We'll also talk a little bit about captaincy, the postponed game, reveal our teams, talk about planned transfers and a whole lot of other good stuff. So Kieran, let's start straight away looking at Gameweek 10. The door slammed shut on that one on Monday evening, and yeah, it was a good one for you.
Well, it could have been so much better, unfortunately. But yeah, 63, which is obviously pretty good, I suppose. Gaming rank of about 450k, which is okay. So I went from 1.6 million to 1.1 million. So yeah, more progress again. So I hope still going in the right direction, I suppose, which is good.
Definitely.
So yeah, James with 6 robbed of a bonus point at like 10 p.m. that night for some reason. I don't know what happened there. KDB obviously with his 10. Fernandez with the 10 and the captain, so I went for Fernandez captain in the end, and obviously it didn't really matter between those two. But Salah 6, Wilson with the 12 on the Friday night, which was super good to just get off to a really nice start.
God, yeah.
That felt good. But then blanks from everyone else. So McCarthy, Justin, Tellez, Calvert-Lewin, and obviously Watkins, who played last match, missed the penalty. Had a he was fouled for the goal that was disallowed. Should have been another penalty, so he should have had a 12-pointer really. So, and that would have been like a 75-point week where the average was around, what was the average?
It was 44. It was low.
So it would have been game changing, I think.
No, but still a really really good score anyway. I took a hit last week, so my defense was on its knees basically. I only had 2 starters in Chilwell and Walker-Peters. I had Size, Lascelles and Mitchell back there as well, so I had to get a defender in. I went for the Man City fixtures. They thought they looked good. I played it safe with Diaz rather than Cancelo. Obviously that came in, so I was up there, but my downfall was in my striker move. So got rid of Callum Wilson. He obviously hauled on the Friday, and then Vardy, that long wait until Monday for him to just get an assist 5 minutes before the end. I think it was about a net loss about 5 points, but Let's see. I'm pleased I've got a playing defender, and now that Lascelles is definitely out of this game week because of the postponement, I'm happy just to have 3 defenders. So we'll see going into that one. Otherwise, it was quite a good week. So Fernandez 10, Grealish 10, and my main point scorers obviously Chilwell getting 8, 2 bonus points. I think this is the 4th time this season I've captained what I would consider a differential, and I've been trying to mix it up with captaincy this season, and it's not gone right. So I've had a collective points total of 5 from the last 2 captaincies, and compare that with your captains. You've had about 40 odd points from Fernandez, and did you double Fernandez?
Fernandez twice.
Yeah, so 20, 22 and 20. So in the time you've had 42 points, I've had 5, and it's not been good the last 2 game weeks. So
well, I did say how have I been catching you up in the league, and that's how captain is such a huge thing.
So I think I'm going to play it a bit safer with some premium picks going forward, but more on that a little bit later. Should we talk about a manager who has done better than us both? Manager of the week in the FPL Cougars mini league.
Yeah, a massive 86 points from Linguadium Leviosa. I don't know if you want to try and pronounce that. Is that right? I know.
Yeah, it looks good.
There's a proper way to say it apparently, but from Chris Nelson, and gaming rank of 5k compared to my 455k. That's silly bonkers. But Walker with 9 points, so he went for the Walker choice in the City back line, which is interesting. Seems nailed on, I suppose, actually, as well as Diaz and that. So Chilwell 8 points as well, Jota with 9, Bruno with 10, Grealish with 10, KDB with 20 of the captain, and then Wilson 12. So he's got a stacked midfield as well.
Nice.
So doing well.
And he's got a good defence, like a player from each of the big team back there. Robertson, Walker, Chilwell. That's quite a nice squad there. All right, let's move on to the preview. And we would have started off by talking about the Aston Villa Newcastle game, which was due to happen Friday night. Obviously been postponed. Got the news of that. We haven't had confirmation. Have we come through about when it's been rescheduled for?
No, well, we're hoping for the midweek of this game week still. So like after the Monday night game, so maybe the Tuesday or Wednesday, and it's still in Game Week 11. That's the hope at least. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to call it. So at the moment, I'm sort of reading it as it's not going to happen. And I'm sort of trying to plan a little bit for that. Now, you and I have both got 2 players Newcastle and Villa. You've got Wilson, Watkins. I've got Grealish, Lascelles. I probably wouldn't have played Lascelles anyway. But are you looking at either of those two? And if it is postponed until a game week or two down the line, are you thinking of moves to get them both out, or are you quite happy with bench cover for this game week? And
well, to me, the next few weeks seems like the right place to do it because they're free, and the coming run is up to Christmas is getting even more packed up, isn't it, with FA Cup and stuff. So assuming that does happen, then they're going to be double game weeks if they don't come into this week. So Wilson and Watkins on double game weeks, if I keep them, sort of makes sense. I never really intended to sell them because both their fixtures are good.
They are, yeah.
So they come back next week and they've obviously rested, I suppose, and then hopefully get some hauls again. Like Watkins has still been, he should have hauled in the last two really, but he hasn't done. So there's obviously hope there. And then Wilson coming with that late brace or golden assist, the other day, which obviously gives me hope in him as well. So I think I might just keep them and
bench.
And just let my bench do it, because I've got a full paying bench now, which was
That's nice.
part of what I did 2 weeks ago of just upgrading Wickham. So I've got Eiling, Basuma and Kilman on the bench now, assuming Kilman was just rotation. That obviously two bench deep right now, but Eiling and Basuma coming in is maybe not the worst. No. Obviously Eiling has been doing well lately, so it's just Tellez if he's fit or not. We'll see. Maybe I go to Diaz or something, but maybe I sell one of them. I'm not really sure. What do you think about Wilson, at least?
I think a lot of it will come down to, like you say, whether it's postponed or not. I kind of look at it, like, especially for me, because I know Grealish is a lot more, maybe $1 million and a bit more expensive than Wilson and Watkins. When I look at mine, I kind of see that I'm now forced to play Souček and Reed in the midfield, and that doesn't seem good on a game week. So I look at it a little bit like that and think that my squad isn't worth very much, and they're playing. I don't expect them to get a lot. Whereas I can see your point. Oh, sorry.
You've probably got value in Grealish.
Yeah,
if you sell him,
I know.
You're going to want him back straight away for the fixtures after it. So, and he might have double game weeks just around the corner. So I wouldn't sell Grealish. It's only 1 week. If you get the captain right this week, you're probably covered anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
most people are going to be taking hits to get rid, because they're just like, they see no fixtures and they're just like, must get rid. But
and they'll probably get a hit to get them back in. So you could make 8 points on people.
Yeah,
maybe I will just play it safe and bench them both. But that's the thing. I haven't got that much bench cover. I've got an injury flag on Kane. Grealish and Lascelles not playing. Yeah. Mitchell doesn't play anyway. So on my bench, I would have absolutely zilch if any of the others mysteriously don't turn up. So
who would you sell Grealish for?
To be honest, if I was going to sell Grealish, it would be Jota. It'd be sort of quite a straightforward move there. But I think in all likelihood, what I'll probably do is I'll just trade Lascelles out for a playing 4-point-something defender, because even though they've got good fixtures, there isn't many game weeks. I'd sort of play him over my current Chilwell, Diaz, Walker-Peters. So I might see if there's another similarly priced cheapy defender I can stick in there. We'll see.
Like
we'll see.
A Lamptey or something, maybe?
Exactly. Yeah, someone who plays this game week, should I need them, and then also is a bit of a future-proof. Because Lascelles has got a bad injury record. You can't rely on him throughout a season, and I don't really want to have to spend a transfer on that. So anyway, that's the thinking. More to be decided. Should we talk about the other fixtures that are happening now, starting with Burnley against Everton?
Yep. Cool. So, as you can obviously see on my notes that we've got in front of us, I've got absolutely nothing written down for Burnley, and that's just
why is that?
That's not me being lazy. It's just there's nothing to talk about for them. There's just get beaten 5-0 by City, and that was about as expected as what everyone thought. So that Pope wasn't in, and 5 conceded for the Peacock Farrell, who maybe could have been more with his butterfingers. So. I expect them to be tighter this week with hopefully Pope back, but I think surely Everton win this quite easily, and I don't see Burnley scoring.
Okay, Everton's defence has been poor. They conceded 7 in 3 7 in 3 on the road, but like you say, Burnley's attack. Their numbers there are pretty mediocre, and defensively, that City game's made their numbers appear a lot worse. Everton are looking pretty good still. So 1.75 big chances average per game in the last 4 game weeks, despite playing 2 promoted sides. There's a little bit of cause concern there. I wonder if Rodriguez seems to have slipped back quite a bit now. 27% ownership. He's blanked in the last 4 games he started. He's still 7.9 million, so not many people have ditched him just yet, but he's had 1 shot in the box in the last 3, 6 key passes, just 1 big chance to create. I mean, those numbers have just nosedived since his injury. I was looking and just comparing that to other players and his price, and I mentioned Jota a minute ago, but his numbers just totally the flip side of that. For nearly $1 million cheaper, Jota's got good fixtures. He's had 7 shots in the box in the last 4 game weeks. He's had 2 big chances created and 3 key passes. So he's looking like, on terms of attacking and creative side, he's just doing much better than Rodriguez, and he's showing he can lead the line for Liverpool as well. He played centrally pretty much for them against Ajax last night, was taken off early. It shows that Klopp values him at the moment, and when he's the one scoring the goals against Brighton, he's really crucial. So yeah, I think Rodriguez's time, if I had him in my team, I'd be looking at moving him on, especially after this one. They got Chelsea, Leicester, Arsenal, Sheffield United, and not the easiest run of fixtures either.
It's hard to move him on before this one though.
Like
he was.
Would you give him this
like
one?
An inch off? I think I would. He was an inch offside for a goal last week, so there's obviously that not going into his stats. So Burnley's XGC is not that bad, to be honest. Like their defense has, I think they had like 2 clean sheets before the City game or something. I think it was. So but you probably have to give Gerrard Burnley away, right? And then Calvert-Lewin as well, obviously didn't do anything last week. So how long do we give him? And is he like? I know obviously he's only blanked twice this whole season, but how long until he blanks a few in a row? You're just like, maybe I should be moving on now.
Well, it's funny. Like I said a minute ago, I captained him. I don't know if I said that when I was doing the review. So that's why I had another blank this weekend. Like you say, second blank of the season. And it's funny, I was looking at the next sort of run of fixtures, and I wasn't sure. I could say maybe he scores 1 goal in the next 4 games. Burnley, Chelsea, Leicester, Arsenal. And he is 60% ownership. I think you'd be taking a bit of a chance to get rid of him at this stage. I know it's just 2 blanks for the season in 10, and this one recent one in a game against Leeds you thought he might have returned in. I think the fact he's so highly owned would sort of prevent me from taking him out. But I think there's some, especially like you say, it's funny that the game has been cancelled now, but Watkins and Wilson both have some good looking stats also, and they would have had such a nice run of 5 fixtures. It would have been a big gamble to take Calvert-Lewin out this game week, but I think if you were looking to move up the ranks and move away from the crowd, if you like, either of those 2 players would have been a good bet. But now that their fixtures postponed, I think it's reset the thinking on that one a little bit.
Yeah, got to give him this game at least, DCL. And there's other fires now with the Newcastle and Villa people to remove, I suppose. And lots of teams have triple Villa from that sort of game week.
Oh god, yeah.
4 or 5 sort of wild cards where people went triple with the defense as well and double attack. So people are going to have some issues there. There might be some free hits going on as well. Yeah,
there might well be. Well, all the people that jumped on Martinez in game week 2-3 time. There's going to be quite a few people who are playing goalkeeper this weekend, but I sort of suffer that almost every week with Ramsdale. Anyway, let's move on. So City against Fulham. That's quite one to get excited about. But City, obviously in Champions League last night, it was 0-0 in the end, wasn't it, that one?
It was, yes. De Bruyne rested, nice. Foden started, Cancelo started, so obviously he is a rotation risk that we have been saying for a while, and I've got here owners in the mud, possibly. So Diaz played again, which is a sort of an issue, but then I assume, I think he got taken off. I know at the weekend, last weekend he got taken off early, which is probably a rest for Champions League. Then I assume he'll play this weekend and then completely rest the next Champions League game because they're completely through already. Yeah. So I think he'll probably not start that last Champions League game and get his rest there. So I think Diaz is still going to be safe for the Premier League, but that is obviously a risk considering he played last night and he's played the last 4 or 5 in a row or something. So with Tellez looking to possibly go to someone like Diaz, that is it feels like a riskier move than it maybe is on paper. I don't really know what you think about that.
I'm quite happy that I've got Diaz now, and I think he seems quite nailed on in that City side. The fact that, like you say, he was been He was afforded a bit of a rest at the weekend. He played an important Champions League game. That sort of makes sense. I expect him to play in the Fulham game. Maybe he'll come off again at a similar sort of time. Rest in the game they've missed. They qualified in, and then play against Man United. So yeah, I think he sort of appeared for me out of nowhere. Really, there wasn't much talk about him at the start of the season, and now he's sort of established himself. He looks like he's the go-to defensive option in that City side.
He's still only like 3% owned, so it's still crazy. Low. Even though it seems like everybody on Twitter is picking him up. So I'm just sort of like with Tellez and his flag. I'm looking at Diaz at a Fulham home. Seems like a great fixture. But then again, Fulham have actually looked a bit better lately.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking better.
And then it seems like the sort of game that Man City are just going to think that they can walk it and then they'll concede. Rough. I mean, then West Ham are definitely going to score against United. So even if Tellez plays, there's not much points there, I don't think, unless he gets assists. But anyway, Man City's attacking stats as a team, XG of 7.28, which is 7th, which is with only 7 scored, which is probably the lowest they've been in a long time, to be honest, with the sort of XG. The XGC of 2.88, which is 3rd overall, so with 3 conceded. So it looks like the defence are possibly better picks than the attack right now. Obviously, they scored 5 last week, but not many were sort of FPL wise. That sort of makes sense. It was Mahrez with all the points that not many people own. Torres only 1% owned, not many people own. So obviously Torres, my cub pick last week, coming out good, which is decent. 8-pointer, looked involved. And then he got subbed off straight after that. So that was lucky timing, because I would have been way further behind if he hadn't scored that just before. But yeah, a sort of get-right game for City that was, I suppose, with Sterling benched. I don't know if that is an omen, because Sterling sort of played last night in the Champions League team in the sort of B 90. Team. But obviously Sterling, he said before that his recovery sort of period is less than others, and he's fine for most games. So, but he's not been in form at all. So... Torres' stats of XG of 1.58 over the last 4 weeks and XA of 0.5, 11 shots, 2 big chances, 3 key passes, 0 big chances created. So the stats aren't great, but this City side are starting to create a lot more, and one will fall to him as it did last week. So I think he's a decent pick, and he got taken off early as well in the Champions League. So seems like he should play against Fulham, and I'd back him to score. Yeah,
people are looking for a punt. If they're taking Grealish out, they got 2 transfers in hand, then maybe Torres could be a good one for this game week. Big differential. Like I say, Fulham are looking a little bit better. I mean, they've got a rough couple of fixtures now with this City game and Liverpool, but after that, Brighton and Newcastle look a little bit better. Perhaps not the pushovers we thought after that Leicester game. I mean, a lot of people expected Leicester just to roll them over. I did, yeah. And their expected goals conceded in the last 4 weeks is fairly mid-table, 11th best or 9th worst overall, whichever way you want to look at that. But yeah, fairly mid-table. They're better than sort of traditional good defensive sides like Palace, Burnley, also better than Leeds, West Ham, surprisingly, and Sheffield United. So yeah, they've definitely tightened up at the back. I mean, what that'll mean for against City, I don't know. I imagine City will still win by 2 or 3, but it just sort of depends.
Is this going to be a Norwich game from last year when everyone captained KDB? Thinking big hauls against a terrible team.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm worried though, because I'm going into this one without any City attack. There's no way I can get to. I can get to Kevin easily in this one unless I take a hit, and I've got other players who are not playing. So it's a bit of a risk. So I'm watching this a bit like last game week, thinking, oh please Kevin, no. So we'll see. Lookman could be the danger man on the attack to maybe wipe out my Diaz clean sheet. The goal in the Leicester game, justice really for his good numbers. He's had 2, 0, 5 and 9 in the last 4, and that 0 was that missed penalty, so he could have ended on another 7 or 8 there. He's 8th overall for expected points in the last 4 with 25.2. He's had 3 big chances in that time, which puts him inside the top 10 of all players, and an XG of 2.08, which puts him 8th overall. So yeah, his numbers are good, and he looked quite threatening in that Leicester game. Yeah, so for 5 million, 0.5% ownership, he's not a bad differential, and I'm getting a bit sick of Souček now after another blank, and just because he's not that attacking. So yeah, someone like Lookman, if I continue to play
Newcastle from week 13.
Exactly. So yeah, I think he could be a good shout.
Yeah, don't mind that.
Yeah, all right. Before we move on then, just really quickly, you're pretty set on De Bruyne captaincy for this game week after not capping him last week?
Obviously I'm going to talk about him more in the captain video, but yeah, he seems like the obvious, completely obvious standout captaincy this week at home to Fulham, with Fernandes away at West Ham, who have obviously looked decent-ish, and then Arsenal, North London derby for Spurs and Arsenal. So Liverpool playing Wolves, who are obviously tough team defensively. So it just seems like KDB obvious, and I think his effective captaincy is going to be through the roof as well.
I'm scared of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to playing those premium ones. All right, let's talk about West Ham, Man United. That's coming up on Saturday as well. Should we start by talking about Fernandes? I mean, he's a freak, basically. 38% ownership. It's gone up again since last week. There's a great stat doing the rounds that since he joined the Premier League in Gameweek 25, I don't know if you saw this one, he's got 30 more points than Salah. Now that's up to 35 more points than Salah. And I kind of, expect his ownership to rocket up before this game. You're obviously not captaining him. His points in the last, I think it's 4 game weeks, he's had 32.9 expected points in the last 4, and he's actually scored 40 points. No one has higher. But it's just that fixture, is it, that's putting you off the captaincy?
I mean, if KDB wasn't playing Fulham, then it would be on him. Maybe if he's rested in the PSG game tonight in the Champions League, then I might think about it again. But imagine, I'm going to be so scared of De Bruyne if I don't captain him. Yeah. So I just think I'll go with the crowd on this one. But I love Fernandes, and he is a freak. He probably is the best FPL asset in the game now, compared to Salah, who's not doing much anymore, compared to De Bruyne, who hasn't not having a great season. Fernandes is overtaken, and people think it's freak, but it's not. It's like penalties are part of the game, and he's getting good stats without penalties in the last few as well. So just I don't know why you wouldn't own him, and I'm so happy I got him from week 3, and he's had what, 2 blanks in that time, and so what? Like, great, I've been earning all his points, and it feels good. It's a shame he's up to 40% owned now, because I want more people to not think about him, as I've said before. But yeah, I love him.
Did you see that quote from Ollie as well after the Champions League game, when he was like, the report was like, not bad for a midfielder, and Ollie was like, looked at him and he was like, a midfielder? He plays up front all the time. And I was like, I love that sort of comment, because even Ollie's happy for him to be sort of classed as a striker.
I have noticed he seems to be getting in the box more lately. I think it's just due to the diamond formation, and suits him.
I mean, the fact that I don't own Kevin has sort of forced my hand to captain him this week, but when I look at his scores on the road, the 10, 17, the 11 and the 12 so far this season, doesn't worry me that much. So yeah, feeling okay about him.
Like it.
What's there to look at on the West Ham front?
So you're pretty happy with Mr. Bowen. Your cup pick last week. Obviously the 13-point haul, 6.3 million, only 2% owned, goal plus assist, and he's obviously a nailed starter in that team. But I have noticed he does seem to be coming off around the 18-minute mark most games. Yeah. And before this week, he's actually blanked 5 game weeks in a row, which is obviously not ideal. So maybe you lucked out, I don't know. But yeah, 10 shots in the last 4 weeks, 0 big chances, not great. 6 key passes, 2 big chances created, 21 points, not bad. And then XA of 1.24, which is pretty high. So I think if you are going to look at picking him, you'll probably need to be patient, because his sort of returns seem a bit sporadic, but he is going to get them in a West Ham team that are attacking. So him, Fornell, Souček, Haller, Antonio, that they seem to be a force that can get goals, and he's often involved, as I said, sporadically. So I think 6.3 million is maybe a bit too expensive for someone who's not going to return all the time. But on the odd occasion when you fancy him, I think he's worth a punt. Souček, 4.9 million, as you say, that you own, 3.4%. Possibly time to dunk. He's returning 2 weeks out of 2 returns in 10 weeks. So I don't know if that's good or bad for 5 million. What do you feel on that sort of value?
I can tell you it's bad. So basically what I did is I wanted to have a look. I wanted to have a look at how he was stacking up. So I just took quite an easy way to look at it. I looked at all the players who were under 5 million and averaged out their points per 90 minutes, basically, and he doesn't even get into the top 20. So there's players who are far cheaper and averaging more points per appearance than he is. So yeah, it's probably time. I mean, there's hundreds of them. Well, not hundreds. There's 20 odd of them. But I don't think actually what's quite interesting about it, there isn't many midfielders who are averaging higher than him. There's maybe only a handful, like Lookman. I think Solly March as well. But yeah, it's mainly defenders who are actually outscoring him. So yeah, I think it is time to move him on. And it's a shame because I held him for quite a while, but I think it shows now that they've got their decent run of fixtures. Even then, he's still not that involved in their attacking play. So yeah, I think time to dump for me. What do you think of changing the subject really quickly on Souček, because he's a bit of a sore subject for me. Antonio, he was back and then he came off. It's such a shame. What do we think? Injury and it's just avoiding, sadly?
I assume it's... Well, we haven't really heard anything. Maybe he was just back for 45 minutes just as a precaution of just getting him some minutes, but then they can do that in a sort of under 23s game or something like that.
Yeah.
But, so I'm assuming it still is hamstring sort of flaring up again, and it's going to be a persistent issue, it seems like. So for me, even though their fixtures look good, I think for the time being, I think I'm avoiding, even though I would love to get him, and I have owned him this season, and he did well. But I think for now, it's a shame because a Watkins or a Wilson to an Antonio for the next few could have been decent, but not now, unfortunately.
Anyway, what do you think score prediction in this one? I mean, United best attacking team in the league right now. In the last 13 big chances, XG of 7.9. That's the best. 10 big chances created, second best.
I think it's hard to predict this one. I think West Ham scores. So I might go for like a 2-2.
A 2-2?
Or like a 3-2 to United or something like that.
That'd be good. All right.
2-1 United.
I'll say United win, but then it'll be high scoring as well. All right. Chelsea against Leeds. I think this is a Saturday evening kickoff. I think it is. It's the 8:00 show. What's there to like about Chelsea at the moment? Name probably the defence, right?
Yeah, the defence. XGC is first by far. So yeah, they've only conceded 1 in the last 4 weeks. The XGC is 1.69. Which is a long way ahead of anyone else. So yeah, it seems like they've nailed down their back four. I think James is nailed on that spot. So obviously, don't bring him in if you don't think he's nailed. But I think he is now. Obviously, Azpilicueta seems to be playing the Champions League, and that's where he's getting his runs out, and possibly the League Cup games and things like that. So, and obviously Chilwell still looking good. He's 1.1 million more expensive than James, but they're providing sort of a similar output, I suppose. So I guess that's be happy enough, but obviously I would quite like Chilwell. Sorry. So James versus Chilwell the last 4 weeks, right? So points wise, it's 22 versus 29. So Chilwell obviously top there. The XG, quite a big difference, 0.2 versus 0.89. Chilwell more of a goal threat. XA of 0.22 versus 0.34. So Chilwell ahead on the XA as well, which isn't great for James. Shots 6 versus 5. Strange that the shots are more for James, but obviously they're probably outside the box, not leading to much. Big chances 0 versus 1. Crosses is James's area, 26 versus 10. Final third passes is 68 versus 93. So Chilwell way more final third passes as well. And touches in the box is 3 versus 15. So Chilwell, seems like he's providing that premium tag well. I think he started at 5.5, didn't he? So
he did. Yeah.
But he is premium now at his 6.2, I think it is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would obviously like him. I can't get to him for Dallas because I've got no money in the bank. But they've had 3 clean sheets out of the last 4, I think it was. So and Chilwell hasn't blanked. Since he started coming into the team, he hasn't blanked once.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Chelsea are tied for the most clean sheets with Spurs. Spurs, surprisingly, at 5. Chilwell looks good. Obviously, it's broken record here. Everyone knows about Chilwell now, but for people like me that don't own him, I would like him.
Yeah, their fixtures are fantastic as well. Only one top 4 side until the end of or start of February, which is Man City at home on the 2nd of January. So their fixtures are really plumb. I'm looking at their Chelsea players. What do you think up front? I mean, I'm tempted to get back on Werner now, but
yeah, same.
It could be a good point, and I mean, could use that money to upgrade someone else in midfield, but unfortunately, I can't do it this week just because I don't want to take too many hits. But yeah, Werner looks good, and I don't know. What do you think of their attack?
I mean, the only person, obviously, everyone knows about Werner. He's looked good. And he looks like he's sort of suiting the sort of left side more now, getting used to it. Tammy, who I want to mention, 7.2 million, started last 5 in the row now. I think I mentioned him as last week as well, including the Champions League. So nailed on question mark. I assume so right now. But Pulisic and Havertz didn't start last week, even though they were fit and both on the bench. So he's had 5, 8, 9, and 2 in the last 4. So and the fixtures look good for attacking returns.
Yeah.
So I think he could be worth a punt at least. And at 7.2 million, around that Wilson Watkins mark. Well, obviously not Watkins, but around the Wilson mark-ish, I suppose. Then yeah, he's not a bad shout. A Chelsea team who look like they're going to be scoring goals for fun. So,
yeah, like it. I think there's a lot to like about Chelsea, both front and back. So, yeah, we'll see where they are at the end of this fixture run, because I think they could be up near the top of the league still, and could be a title chase on this year. Yeah, you think?
I was just going to say I would like Werner, but I like my mids too much, so I'm not. I have no real way to get him.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, on the Leeds front, I think they've got some really nice fixtures coming up. After this Chelsea one, they got West Ham, Newcastle, and Burnley at home in the next 5, and I actually think they could be more of a threat to Chelsea's clean sheet than Spurs were last season. So in the last 4 game weeks, they've had 43 shots in the box, which is the most of any team. 11 big chances, which is the second most. They've kept the clean sheet against Everton, but the back line is still quite exposed. So 11 big chances conceded in the last 4 is the 4th highest. So I kind of expect Chelsea to have some joy there. It's a bit of a mixed bag, really, because when they're open at the back, they really are open at the back. But at the same time, they've kept 4 clean sheets this season, which is the second highest. So yeah, they're a real mixed bag of a side. I don't know. Bamford, we talk about him every week because he's sort of the one to talk about. But 6.1 millionaire, 35% owned. No players have more shots in the box. That's 16. All big chances won than him in the last 4 game weeks. To put that in perspective, the next highest shots in the box count is 10, and the highest big chance count is 5. So those are big numbers, but only 2 attacking returns and 13 points in the last 4. 3 blanks in the last 4 game weeks. Rafinha is interesting. He obviously scored the goal against Everton. He played in the last 3. He started the last 2. In the last 4 Leeds games, has had 5 shots in the box and created 1 big chances. That's the second most after Bamford. So if he's not getting the points, Rafinha looked like he could be a good shout. He's a bit expensive though, 5.4 million, but could be a good differential for those next fixtures. Another one.
What about
Souček replacement maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say, what about Souček to him?
Yeah, it's not.
That seems like a decent shout.
Yeah, he's quite punty. I mean, it's just that it's a shame it's this game week. To bring him in for Chelsea away isn't much better than Souček Man United at home.
Maybe you could leave Souček 1 week, but I suppose you don't have the luxury of sort of players not playing.
Exactly, yeah. So I think if I was in a bit of a different situation, I'd certainly be looking at him. He looks like a good option, especially like with the Wolves lads now as well, Neto and Podence, because they're going to have to play, and they're around that sort of price as well. So I think there's quite a few mid options. I sort of say James Ward-Prowse is probably just a bit above that. But yeah, there's some not bad 5 million in the picks at the moment. All right, any more to add on that one?
I was just on Bamford. I said, I don't trust him. And I kept saying, he's not going to keep returning. And yeah, he hasn't. So, but I think he does get so many chances that eventually they're going to still go in for him. So he's probably still going to pop along with some returns. So yeah, I think if you own him, you just keep him. Oh,
definitely. And especially with these next sort of 3 of 5 home games coming up, I think he'll get some returns in this time. All right, West Brom against Palace. All right. Johnston, where do you want to start on the West Brom front?
Yeah, the defence, Johnston, 4.5 million, 1.3% owned. If you've owned him, you've probably been pretty happy, to be fair. 2 clean sheets for West Brom this season, and when they get a clean sheet, he's getting the bonus. He's only scored less than 3 times in 10 weeks, which is really good for a keeper. Yeah. For a keeper who's barely keeping clean sheets and a team that look like they're going to concede all the time. So extra save points are his bread and butter, and yeah, may actually be worth looking at eventually, to be honest, because cheap, low owned, gonna get those save points. Like I said, he's gonna get 3 points most week at least. So, and when they keep a clean sheet in the decent fixtures, and like I've said in the last few weeks, their defense has been a lot better. Then he's gonna get good points, and this week was point in case. So yeah, I like him a lot. Their XGC as a team is actually pretty bad still, of 8.64 at 17th, but they've only conceded 4. So like I said, they're doing well in the defense. And they only conceded 1 to Spurs and Man United. Kept a clean sheet against forgot the fixture now, Sheffield United. So yeah, this looks like one they could keep a clean sheet as well. So if, like I said, if you own Johnston, you're definitely starting him this week, and you're probably looking for a clean sheet.
No, I think he's been good. I mean, I had a look at the value. So of all players or all defenders and goalkeepers that started at 4.5 million this season, he's the only one of in the top 10. He's like one of 3 that haven't risen. The other one being Meslier, the Leeds goalkeeper, and he's the 6th highest scorer. So yeah, he's going about his business quite quietly and doing well.
And then the other person to mention, who I did sort of mention last week, was Gallagher. Like I said, he's stupidly overpriced at 5.5 million, which he is. Yeah. But at 0.0% owned, so that's a punt, a crazy differential. But yeah, he returned. Obviously, maybe slightly fortunate because it went through so many bodies, but big 10-pointer for him, and obviously a vital win for West Brom against the struggling Sheffield United. That's the first return of his season so far, but he has been a bright spark lately, as I said. So, but FPL wise, not worth picking up at 5.5 million. But just wanted to point him out.
Yeah, no, I like it. On the Palace side, I think we can skim over them quite quickly because they've been pretty poor. They basically just need Zaha back to add something to their game. They've blanked in back-to-back games when he's been out of the team, and they've got a really tough run. Well, a fairly tough run of fixtures after this one. They got Tottenham, West Ham and Liverpool. They've lost their last 2 away games without scoring and now not scored in 3 of their last 4. Defensively, you can usually rely on them, can't you? You sort of think, oh, okay, we get Cahill as Guaita in goal. Van Arnold will return for me, but yeah, they're not even doing that either. 10 big chances conceded is the 5th worst record in the last 4 game weeks. They've not even played like that great attacking sides, really, including Newcastle put 2 past them. So yeah, no clean sheets either, so not much positivity at either end. And I kind of look at Zaha at 17% owned, 7.3 million, and thinking he's going to drop this week. And I think most people are going to be going to Jota ahead of the weekend.
It's 0-0, right? This one?
No? I kind of think West Brom will win this again. I think it'd be 1-0. Yeah. Maybe your boy
Gallagher
again? It might be your boy Gallagher from a Johnson goal kick, something like that. That'd be nice.
Like it.
All right. Leicester are going away this weekend to Sheffield United. They let us down let me down on Monday. Are they going to let me down again here, Keith, do you reckon?
Well, I mean, Leicester can't really break down teams that defend, so maybe, honestly. Tough to say. Vardy didn't look that great, wasn't that involved, was he? No. So what did you think about his performance?
Quiet. I mean, I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights, and then I looked at the stats, and I think it was maybe about the 40th minute I checked in on to see what the score was, and I think he'd had about 5 touches. And I was like, oh, it's just classic Vardy. But I mean, the fact that he came away with the 5 points was okay. I think it's funny. It was a woeful performance, but his stats are really good. And 5 away games this season, he's only blanked once. 13, 17, 7, 14, 2 are his last 5 away returns. So it's funny, really, because we've said before, he just doesn't look like he's that involved. And all of a sudden, he'll have he just needs a couple of touches to get a big score. He leads all players for expected goals in the last 4 game weeks somehow with 3.48. He's had 5 big chances. He's also one of the most creative strikers, which is a bit of a surprise, but I suppose he did get an assist for Barnes. 2 big chances created in that time, and he's the 2nd highest for expected points after Bruno in the last 4 game weeks. I mean, these expected numbers, which basically what I make most of my decisions off, they're crazy high. And it's funny because if you didn't watch him, you'd think he's a great pick.
Doesn't he hate Sheffield United as well? Wasn't he former Sheffield Wednesday or something? Is that right?
Something
or
like
from
that.
There or something? Yeah, maybe. I'm pretty sure he absolutely hates Sheffield United and loves scoring against them. So I think he did that little sort of arms wide and stretched out in front of the crowd like last year or the year before or something. So
he definitely scored against
probably
them.
Going to want to score.
Yeah, he scored against them last year. And Sheffield United are in such bad form, then I kind of expect Leicester to take advantage of them. So let's see.
Yes, so on the Sheffield United side, they've actually had 10 big chances in the last 4 weeks with an XG of 5.32, which is and the big chance is the 3rd highest of all teams the last 4 weeks. So that's kind of crazy. you didn't. I think Baldock looked quite good last week. He had quite a few chances, and he's maybe there's a clean sheet here for Sheffield United. Maybe is that crazy to say? But I mean, you'd love it with Ramsdale, but I just don't know if Leicester are looking that great offensively. I think Maddison coming in has made them look worse, which is strange. And then Tielemans has had his bit of form and now dropped off again, and yeah, they're missing Castagna because Justin isn't doing too much. So yeah, Fuchs with that awful penalty sort of decision of why he's going in there.
Yeah,
so
mad.
yeah, but I think they've got 3 of their main players about to come back, and Ndidi's about to come back.
They do.
Ricardo's close to coming back. I don't think Ricardo starts the next few still, but and then Castagna's had a hamstring issue again, I think, and then there was someone else.
Is it Soyuncu as well?
So yeah, that's it. Yeah, Soyuncu. Yeah. So I assume I think Justin at least plays this week. That's what I think. And then Soyuncu or Ricardo, one of them gets a few minutes. I don't think they will come back straight away, but Ndidi might come straight back in, even though Mendy has looked quite good. So yeah, we'll see. But Leicester are starting to get healthy again, I suppose. And then on the Sheffield United side, McBurney, 10 shots in the box. 4 big chances in the last 4, okay, I suppose, but that is more than Jesus, Aubameyang, Jota, and the same as West Brom and Saints as a whole team. So, I mean, big chances, shots in the box wise, he's looking great, but he's just not a pick, is he? So,
no, sadly not. All right, let's move on. We've got the North London derby, Spurs against Arsenal. That's happening. I think it's happening Sunday lunchtime. No,
Sunday evening.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, lunchtime for some people. If you're having your roast, you have it at 4:30. Yeah, I suppose you might. All right. Obviously Spurs or Kane blanking for just the second time this season. He's dropped in ownership a bit this game week, and there's lots of other options with better fixtures appearing. I've been thinking
he's flagged now as well.
Yeah, Mourinho did say he's probably going to play. I think he did a presser ahead of the Europa League tie, so I imagine he'll play against Arsenal, but I don't know, I'm in a position where I'm thinking I'm going to sell him soon. I never planned to hold him this long, and it's just sort of happened, and I'm not sure. I'm looking at him thinking, is there really any reason to get rid of him? He's only blanked twice, but then I sort of still look at the fixtures and think, is he going to haul in any of the next 4 games? Arsenal, Palace, Arsenal home, Palace and Liverpool away, Leicester at home. Difficult one.
I mean, 6, 9, 4, and 2 in the last 4 weeks, and that's less points than Wilson in the last 4 weeks. And actually, that's less points than Werner, Adams, Watkins, Tammy, Vardy, DCL. They've all outscored in the last 4 weeks, and everyone's been saying that Kane has been essential, and he's not blanked, but he's not been hauling at all. So, hasn't actually had a double-digit return since week 5. So, and at 11 million, your striker who's not blanking, you want some double digits. Don't you? You want to be able to captain him and be happy about that.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, if I had him, I'd maybe look at getting rid. But then at the same time, I would probably need to keep him because would probably have Villa and Newcastle assets to worry about. So I think he's maybe still a keep because possibly on the break against Arsenal, he looked like not good right now. Then I think Kane and Son could still do well this one, so we'll see. The defence-wise, a bit of a surprise. Obviously, they have been a bit of a joke defensively over the last couple of seasons, but 3 clean sheets in a row for Spurs. Yeah. So they're very, very much underlooked and valued in the FPL community. And week 15 onwards is a good run of fixtures. And I'm probably looking at Reguilon or something like that. Lloris at 5.5 million. He's the second highest scoring goalkeeper now, 47 points. That's only behind Fabianski, who's actually had a pen save, so that's where the extra points for Fab come from. But he's had 2 10-pointers in a row now and 3 bonus in each of them, and that's versus Man City and Chelsea. So, 2 clean sheets against Man City and Chelsea, super good. They did seem to employ a sort of back 6 at times, but that's very Mourinho-esque, I suppose, and it worked. So he might be worth looking at, but he might be too expensive at the same time. And then Dyer, he's been getting bonus as well, actually, in these games, and he's actually looked quite solid lately. So at 5.1, I think he is. He could be a decent shout. So I'm possibly looking at the defence from that sort of decent fixture run from I think week 15. Regulon, Lloris, Dyer, they're all fairly cheapish, so you can certainly go out and get them from Diaz or a Tellez or a Chilwell or a James, and yeah, they're affordable.
Yeah, they've been sort of quietly going about their business, haven't they? People have been talking about the Chelsea defensive numbers, but really Spurs are right there with them, and yeah, we haven't really seen much investment in them. So yeah, Regulion, or how you pronounce that, Lloris, Dyer, all good options. I think the most nailed of all of them. On the Arsenal side, I love that clip this weekend of Arteta with his head in his hands. Did you see that? And he was giving some instructions to someone who was coming on, and it was like he got totally lost in thought and just put his head in his hand and just stopped. And then he's like, remember what he was going to say. I was like, it was excellent. But yeah, they've looked so poor recently, but they scored. So hey, that's great. 7 big chances conceded in the last 4 for them is fairly mid-table. And the attack, still bad. So 3.9 XG is the third worst in the last 4 games. 2 scored. It's only better than Burnley and West Brom. So yeah, poor really. Obviously the goal from I think it was a corner, wasn't it? Gabriel and Arsenal just not looking enticing at all. Aubameyang expected points of 20 in the last 4. That's the highest of all their players points-wise. Gabriel leads the way after his goal. Aubameyang's just had 8 shots in the box, 2 big chances. I think it's always a tight game, the London derby. So I'm not quite sure which way this one's going to go, but I kind of think a narrow Spurs win. What do you reckon?
Didn't I say last week that Gabriel had more points than Aubameyang as well?
Yeah.
And now he's gone and scored as fast. He's well ahead.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
What do you think? Spurs win here?
Yeah, I think it's tough. But yeah, I'd go a 2-0 Spurs. Yeah.
All right, I'll join you. I think they're going to win, but I'll say it'll be a bit closer. I'll say it'll be 1-0. Alrighty, Liverpool against Wolves. Obviously awful for Jimenez. Obviously clash of heads, and we hope he gets better soon and makes a good and full recovery.
Definitely.
Because it's just awful. I can't bring myself to watch anything like that, and obviously heard all the talk about what had happened, but yeah, really felt for him. It means quite a big change for their team from a fantasy point of view. We had Silva came in for him, and he was priced at 5.2 million. He's 0.5%. He looks like he could fill in a striker role. They've got Neto and Podence there.
I don't think he will. No. I think he's still too young.
I know it's unusual. How do you think they're going to line up now? Because Neto and Podence have been the biggest goal threats for them, and there's an opportunity now for one of them to make a claim there.
I think they'll put Traore up front.
Oh, do you think? Okay.
Personally, yeah. Just he's not been playing just because there hasn't really been anywhere to fit him. But now that Jimenez isn't there, I think just stick him up front and just let him run at people and he's strong enough to obviously hold the ball off and be that sort of lone big man up front. So, or maybe not lone, but Neto and opponents around him. I think that seems like the right way to go. Yeah, for me. Yeah,
interesting. I wonder if how good Traore be running sort of centrally at people. Like, I can understand his talents for running wide.
Yeah.
But he's usually chipping the ball into the box for Jimenez. So, and Neto and Podence a lot smaller. So I wonder how. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they shape up. And I kind of think they're going to be quite out of sorts at attacking, or from an attacking sense, against Liverpool. So I wouldn't be surprised for a Liverpool clean sheet here.
Do you think they go back to the back 3 for this? I mean, surely they do. You can't play a 4 against Liverpool, I wouldn't think. I mean, Kilman, as a Kilman owner, I think if they play back 4 from now on, he's out of the team. He's not getting in ahead of Cody or Bolly. So I need them to go back to a back 3 quickly.
I was surprised about that. Did Neto say any reasoning for why they went 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1?
I think it was just out of necessity recently. I think because of Cody being not available the last couple. Obviously he did play the last one, but I think they practiced it for the one without him, and then they practiced it again when he came back, and it just seemed to work for them apparently. So I guess we'll see, but I would think they would go back to a tried and tested 3 at the back for this one. Just makes sense to me, but obviously I'm not a football manager. But I obviously hope they do, because Kilman is invaluable at 4.2 to just have him come on if needed.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. It would be nice to have him back in that spot. What on the Liverpool side of things? You've obviously got Salah now. There's no chance of you side grading him to, or side maybe down or upgrading him to Jota, but Jota's looking great, isn't he?
Yeah, his ownership is at 25% now, crept up massively. And it's probably still going to keep going up with possibly Grealish out, or Grealish is out at the moment, obviously. So yeah, 9, 8, 2, 9, and 9 in his last 5, and he's had a hat trick in the Champions League as well. So massively in form, and yeah, for me and my team, I'm gonna keep ignoring him because he just doesn't fit my squad and structure because I'm happy with my midfielders. So maybe a Son to him at some point would make sense, but at the moment he's just gonna have to go ignored. But yeah, 11 shots, 3 big chances, 3 key passes, and 2 big chances created. XG of 1.9 and XA of 1.16. So that's similar sort of stats to Jimenez from last season, who was providing goal value in the assists and attacking goal threat. Sorry. So he came off early in the Champions League as well last night. So he looks like he's going to start again, which obviously great for his owners and people who are looking to buy him. And yeah, hard to ignore. Like I said, 6.8 million, great value for a in-form midfielder from Liverpool, gonna chip in all the time, it seems like. So obviously you're looking at him, but Definitely. Then on the rest of the side of Liverpool, there's Robertson has got a flag now, he's an injury doubt. Allison is going to be out for this one as well, so he's out for a couple of weeks, and I imagine that Kelleher will play. Adrian seems to be completely out of sort of favour. So yeah, there's some sort of worries over Liverpool, and Salah last night didn't look that involved, didn't look great.
Missed a couple of big chances, didn't he, as well? Like you'd usually expect him to eat up.
Yeah, so at 12.2 million, only under 30% owned. Like Kane, hasn't had many double-digit returns, which is only 2 as well. But he's returned in the last 3 games with a 2, 8, 8, and 6 in the last 4.
Right.
He needs a haul pretty soon, to be honest. At 12.2 million, when he's not hauling and getting double digits. I said at Kane at 11 million, you want double digits. At Salah at 12.2 million, and he's not getting double digits, then that's something to look at. He did obviously play 1 game less, but his XG is still the 7th highest in the game of midfielders at 1.75. 6 shots in the last 4 weeks, which is low for him, that's for sure. 2 big chances, 5 key passes, 0 big chances created, so not created too much either.
Quite.
So yeah, slightly concerning on Salah's side, but hopefully this is a game, if they play the back 4, that he can do well in. And yeah, maybe people are just losing faith, and he can sort of punish them because it's the lowest owned he's been in a long time. So yeah,
kind of it'd be interesting one just to see how Salah goes for the next couple of games compared to Jota. Like you say, I think Jota's been matching him, if not doing better than him, and providing that better value. And if people start to feel comfortable that Jota's getting priority for these league games, maybe they'll start captaining him. So, and will we see a shift from Salah? So I think we've sort of seen it a little bit with the Liverpool team this season, with people switching from Trent to Robbo even when they were both fit. So maybe the same could happen there. All right, last game of the game week.
Yep.
Brighton host Southampton. Surprisingly, I thought for Southampton, 4 game weeks, they sit bottom of the big chances table with just 3. So I think they did well to score 2 against United. They've massively overperformed their XG. 9 goals from just an XG of 4.3 in the last 4 game weeks. Obviously, they're missing...
That's those free kicks.
Yeah, it's those free kicks, isn't it? With low numbers and some great goals. Obviously, they're missing... I think those numbers show they're missing Ings. But at the same time, Adams, that was his first blank in 6 game weeks, which I think was quite remarkable considering their low numbers. They actually face 3 teams who are positioned 14th or lower in the next 5. Arsenal count as that 14th place team. So I think the fixtures are fairly decent for them. They've just got a couple of, just one tricky game with Man City coming to St Mary's. So I think Southampton, especially if they can get Ings back, he could be back at a really vital time for teams. So I think he could be an interesting option with it. He was penciled in to return this game week. Obviously, James Ward-Prowse as well. 5th highest scoring mid in the game. More points than Mane. More points than James Rodriguez, who we spoke about a little bit earlier. 6 million, 8.4%. So a big differential. Not quite sure about how sustainable it is, unless he's getting a couple of free kicks a game. So he's had no shots in the box in the last 4, but 3 goals. He's given 6 key passes, but his expected points are just 16.5, and they're usually a really good indicator of an actual points. And his actual is 33, so he's basically doubled to a point his actual points to his expected ones. So not sure how long that's going to continue.
Yeah, it's just those free kicks, and seems to be able to score them most times, and I guess it's just the position of where they are that he's just been lucky to get them in the exact position he needs to be able to score. But yeah, it's not sustainable. Free kicks never are.
No,
you can't rely on that for FPL points.
I mean, he is quality, and like his corners are quality as well. But there'll be a point where he just doesn't convert, or no one converts one of his corners for a while, and his points will dry back up again.
Yep.
On the Brighton side,
so XG of 5.21, which is mid-table with 4 scored. XGC of 4.28, which is 6th overall, which is 4 conceded. Obviously decent because they've obviously played Liverpool in that as well. Welbeck, we're going to mention him in the differential video, but I did call him out last week as playing well, and he obviously got another return, so well done to him. And then Mopai, 6.3 million, 2.9%. If you still own him, just get rid of him because... Yeah, shocking. Hasn't returned since week 4, 6 weeks of blanks, and a -1 this week with that penalty, and then off with a hamstring injury, or he was just too embarrassed to carry on. Who knows? But shocking. Yeah, he's just not a player I would ever own in FPL. I don't think, because I just do not like him. So the defense, 4th best XGC, which is impressive, honestly, considering playing Villa and Liverpool, who are both top scoring teams right now. Actually, it's the 6th best XGC. Sorry, I got that wrong. So Lamptey obviously going to come back in after being banned for the last game with his 1 match ban. Expecting to have a good game, I would think. Possible clean sheet, Southampton. Obviously, maybe Ings is going to be back. We don't know. But obviously, Adams blanking last week. Yeah, their sort of goals at the moment have come from the set pieces, and maybe Brighton with their XGC of Dunk and Webster and Burn and all those guys are going to be fine with set pieces. So yeah, Lamptey, if you own him, 100% start. I think Webster 4.4 is a decent shout for a cheapie to just be nailed on in your back line if you need him on your bench. Their fixtures are pretty decent: Southampton, Leicester, Fulham, Sheffield United, West Ham United. Good for Brighton for sure. So I might be looking at one of their defenders eventually, because Justin is eventually going to need to go for me. And Kilman, if he's not got his place, that Lamptey / Webster area looks pretty good. Yeah, definitely. In fact, especially that Lamptey's got that sort of goal threat and he's playing so wide and getting so far forward. Like you say, one of these games he's just going to get a 15-pointer from somewhere. So 100%.
Hopefully that's soon. All right. I think that wraps up the main show. Let's just end by saying, captaincy at this point in time, you're pretty set on Kevin, not going to move it.
For now, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pick Fernandes, and I think transfers-wise, I might be very boring and get rid of Lascelles for a defender. I'm not sure quite who yet. Someone, obviously a player with some good fixtures. I might go another Chelsea defender, maybe Zuma, but let's see. I'll have a little bit more of a think about that. What do you think you're going to do?
I'm waiting to see if Tellers is fit. Otherwise, I mean, I've got 2 free transfers, so I could do a lot, and I quite like my team, so there's possibly not much I'd do. I mean, maybe an Eiling to someone just for a good fixture run, maybe to a Zuma if I can afford it. Might be quite good. It might just be a Tellers to a Diaz if Tellers is fit.
And then you just keep your fingers and toes crossed that Wilson and Watkins play in this game week.
Yeah, I think I'll start them anyway, just in case they do start and other people have sold them, and possibly Newcastle have to play their under-21 team because their whole team might still be in isolation, but they'll have to play it anyway, and they'll have to play all the kids. So Watkins against an under-21 team sounds quite good.
It does.
And obviously Grealish as well if people have him. So yeah, there's that to keep in mind. But yeah, it's a variety of nothing to lots of things.
A classic FPL game week. All right. I think about wraps it up. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back next week with the main show, and we'll be back later this week with our Cougar Cubs video as well as our differentials. As well as our captaincy video. So hope to see you there for those. Anyway, until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Cheers everyone. Good luck.
Cheers and goodbye.